Yahoo!
So the configuration will appeal to some people, and for others it will not be so interesting to have such an irregularly shaped framework. I like it because it's so eclectic, you know. It's unique, and of course the word teepee and igloo come to mind, which are wonderful indigenous configurations, which I very much like. But I know that most people would rather have something that's a little bit more orthodox in nature. I specifically looked for curve-shaped branches in this case, and there are a lot more of those out there than the straight branches. And for that reason, it only took 2.5 hours to make this. About 80% of these dead branches I pulled right out of the ground. I broke off of trees, or I used this little Swiss Army knife to cut. Most of them are bow-shaped, which is very important for the dome type construction that I'd like to have. Everything comes to a point at the top, so that means I don't have to make a flat roof and then walls, which are separate. The same branches that make up the walls make up the roof, and it's a lot stronger than I thought it would be. Here's the test. See, if I couldn't do this, it wouldn't be that strong. This will be stronger than a tent in any case, and a lot cheaper, and a lot better for the environment. So, hey, you know what I just noticed? I just noticed that this video has not been weird and quirky the way my usual ones are. I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
Who's living in my forest? Who's living in my forest? Who's living in my forest? Who's living in my forest?
It's a park. I mean, you know, you can't legally build anything in a park. But I'm not killing anything, I'm not lighting fires. And there are a couple of homeless guys that live over here about 1,000 yards in a kind of a tent city. And it seems that somebody even brought them some brand new trash cans because they were kind of messy, as vagrant people tend to be a little bit scruffier. And there was a tent city right over here. And this sleeping bag has been here for months. And it's a good bag, it really is. It's very thick. It's a mummy bag. And I think this is synthetic material. So I think that's probably a bag which would keep you warm at 10 degrees. That's a very good bag. So I'm gonna wash it, take it with me. And over here is the remnants of a campsite which belonged to a homeless person who was struggling. And I already took part of this tent about 3 months ago, and I stashed it over here somewhere because it was slashed up. Somebody came here and slashed up a tent, or two. It was actually another tent over here. And then they came back and they spray painted the trees and the personal belongings of whoever was living here, which baffles me. It was somebody who was struggling, homeless, homesick, you know the drill. Spiritual renewal. You know, this person was probably trying to get their life back together, and it is beautiful back here, and it's very convenient with the bike path and Harvard Square right over here, Charles River. It's awesome. But the thing that I don't understand is why people need to sleep in places where you're so exposed, where everybody can see you. I don't understand this, because if people know where you're sleeping, they can mess with your stuff, and they can mess with you. About 2 months ago, I came back here and I saw a pair of brass knuckles right here. Let's see if it's still here. Oh, wow, there it is. There it is. You know, why would you force yourself into a situation where you had to require 2 brass knuckles at your side in order to be able to feel comfortable? You know, why not just conceal yourself a little bit more, go to a different place, you know? I couldn't sleep like this, thinking that maybe somebody's going to bash my brains in and I have to have weapons right next to me all the time. It's crazy. Anyway, and let me take you to a place that I thought was an awesome location in terms of being concealed and relatively comfortable. Wow, I'm really surprised to see that my stash is still here. Very surprised. Wow, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Look at that. That's just good material. Yeah, I was gonna sleep around here and nobody really knows you're here. It's dry enough, and there are pathways that you can just start walking straight back. And you can just sleep right here. You would obviously hear somebody coming, right? It gets a little weird. It gets a little strange. It gets a little strange. Because of the claustrophobia. But breezy, breathtaking. Don't always go for convenience, I mean, sure, listen to your intuition. And if you feel okay with sleeping out in the open, then go for it. If you're that in touch with your own destiny, with your own karma and intuition, sure, go for it. But if you have to sleep with brass knuckles, I don't know, you might want to rethink what you're doing. Okay, awesome, yeah! There's a lot of tent here. There's a lot of mosquito net. There's a lot of material here. And that tarp is really, really going to help too. And the linen, the bag of linen that I found, it's going to be great. That's what the tarp and the tent portion of material have done. It looks kind of funny. So here it is. This is the final edition. And as you can probably tell, it's camouflaged. It's a little funkier than I thought it would look. I did not expect it to be so angular. And it's warmer inside because I insulated it with these blankets which I found. And here's a tent, plastic bags, the tarp that I found, and the sleeping bag that I found. Notice that the garbage bag also acts as a window, as does this blue tarp. This is where I stay. Oh!